Hey Adventure, so today is going to be a look back at my goals for 2025 and then also looking at what goals I have for 2026. Yeah, let's quickly go through this and see if I can figure out how to do this and make it make sense. So, editing T here, this didn't really work like I was expecting it to or like I was hoping to. I tried to screen record from my phone while I watched the video and then I could pause it and talk and stuff like that, and it just didn't work out very easily, very clearly. And so I'm just cutting to the end and I do a brief wrap up of my previous goals. So that's what you'll be seeing here. All right, so that was my goals for 2025. Let's just do a brief recap of them. Physically read one book per month. I didn't succeed with that one. Read what I own. I didn't really, kind of did succeed with that one, not really. Books that were sent to me, didn't really succeed with that one. And finish up series, I didn't really succeed with that one, although I did to some degree. I also wanted to build a bookcase, which didn't happen. I wanted to make progress on writing, which didn't really happen, but at the same time I made some progress in understanding storytelling, so that was helpful. I wanted to catalog my library, which didn't really happen. I wanted to get back to 2 videos per week, which did happen, other than the time when my computer went down and I couldn't edit or upload videos. And then I wanted to do more author interviews. I did succeed with that one in the sense that I did more author interviews, 2 more, but it wasn't as many as I would have liked, but it was good. They were good interviews. So yeah, that was my 2025 reading goals. Let's go into my 2026 goals. I have, again, channel and reading goals, and let's just take a look back at these. For the most part, these are just ported over directly, copy and paste type thing, and I did add a handful more to the list, but there's a lot of them that are just the same as what I had in 2025, and I think that they were good goals and reasonable goals, and so I'm going to continue working on those. So the first one is physically read one book per month. That's absolutely doable. I just need to actually work on it and actually do that. And so physically read one book per month, that's a goal. I want to, at the end of the year, be able to say I physically read 12 books this year or more. More would be preferable, but at least 12. I want to read what I own and end 2026 with a positive read to unread ratio, which means of the books that I own, I have read more than I have not. And that would be a fantastic place to land, and in some ways I don't think I'm terribly far off from that, but at the same time I know there's a lot of books I physically own that I have not read. But there's also a lot of audiobooks, so I can get to those, and hopefully that will help. Continuing once again, the books that were sent to me. I want to read the books that have been sent to me by the authors, and I'm slowly working my way through that. I'm currently, one of my current physical reads is a book that was sent to me by the author, and so that's good to actually be doing that, but I need to do more. There's definitely more that I need to do. I need to continue finishing up series. I need to actually finish series and not start series, which I think for the most part I did decent in 2025. I did finish more than I started, but at the same time there's a whole lot of series that I have started and I have not caught up on or have not finished. And I already know that there's a whole bunch more that I would love to start this year. I made a whole video about that, and I also made a video about series that I would like to finish this year. And so hopefully I can make significant progress in closing out series, or at least catching up on them. So those were the ones from the previous year, but I have a couple more here that I want to do that are reading goals. One of them, I want to start reading some Shakespeare. There's a couple ulterior motives as to why this would be the case. One of them being that the local Shakespeare theater here is doing a Shakespeare play and that I've never heard of, that I don't know the story of, so I want to read that play and see if I want to go audition for that play. And so that's going to be one where I try and get to in probably Q1 actually, but we'll see what happens with that. So that's one goal that I want to do, is actually read some Shakespeare and start learning about Shakespeare. Then I want to continue studying story structure and makeup. That's an important thing for me as a reader and as a writer and as a storyteller. I want to understand how to build a story, how to construct the I don't need all the details, but I want the frame to be able to understand, okay, how can I build this frame so that I can put all the details into it and stuff like that. And that's not something that I have very well. And so I do need to do that for myself, or at least I don't understand how to translate what other people say about that and what I know of storytelling onto a page that I am writing. And so that's something that I need to work on for sure. I want to get caught up on written reviews. I am very far behind. I don't even know where I'm at with writing reviews. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But I am back in, I think I'm in August for writing reviews, which means I'm about 6 months behind on written reviews. I need to get caught up on that. I want to get caught up on that so that I'm able to read the next book in the series a lot quicker, so that there's not 6 months in between reading a book and then reading the next book in the series, because that's part of what takes me so long to get to them, is that I don't have, or I want to write the review, at the very least. Write and film it would be great, but at least write the review of the book before I read the next one in the series, so that I'm not getting my thoughts and confused and mixed up. So I want to get caught up on writing reviews, and I think I can. That's something that's definitely doable. I just need to make an effort to actually do it. Then I want to improve my reviewing skills. That's something that's a little bit weird for me to think about or figure out how to do. I really don't know how to do that. I really don't know how to improve as a reviewer. So if anybody has ideas or thoughts or things that they'd like to see from my reviews especially, please let me know. Please give me some feedback in regards to that. What are the things that work really well for you in my reviews? What are the things that you don't like? Because I need to figure out what it is about reviews that I can improve upon, and what things I need to change or get rid of or do better, and just in general how to be a better reviewer of books. And I do know that my style of review is far more about my experience with the book, and that's great, that's wonderful, but I also want to be a better reviewer in general. So that's a goal for sure. But that is probably more of a channel goal, I guess, which is probably a good thing that I am now moving into my channel goals. So I already mentioned this when we were taking a look back at last year's goals, but I want to build a bookcase. I'm actually taking steps to get myself to a point where I can start working on that. I'm constantly thinking about it. Pretty much daily do I think about, okay, I want this bookcase, I want to build it, I want to be able to see it and figure out what I want and how I want it, and make it something that's going to last for a long time, that's going to be precious, I guess, has some value to it for sure. And so yeah, that's a goal of mine for sure, and I think that I'm finally ready and able to get to that. And so that's going to be something that happens this year. At least it's a goal. If it doesn't happen, I won't be mad, but I would really like to do it this year. I want to make progress on writing. I talked about this as well. I have a lot of things that I have started writing, or a lot of ideas that I have written down or whatever. There's one that I'm working on with somebody else, and I would like to make some progress on that. I'd like to actually do my part and make it so that it's not him writing it and me just being like, yeah, that was great, because it was great, but there is a little bit more that I need to do, and I need to actually put in the effort to do something with that. And so that's definitely part of the goal, but not just with that one that I'm collaborating with somebody else on, but also I've got other projects. I have an idea for a play that I would love to write and produce at some point. So I am thinking about that all the time, constantly, and trying to figure out how can I make this work, and I'm going to have to do a whole lot more research to figure it out, but that's something that I want to work on. Like I mentioned, I've got stories that are started or halfway done or whatever it is. I've got the short story that I'm a third of the way through or half the way through or something like that, and I want to go back and finish that for my own sake, for the sake of learning how to complete a story that I've started, type thing. And so I definitely have some things, and for me it's more about learning how to do it than it is about producing something that people would want to read or that is going to make me money or anything like that. I'm not nearly so worried about that. I want to learn how to tell stories, how to complete a story that I have in my mind. So yeah, we'll get to working on that, and that's one of the things with my author interviews that I really like, hearing other authors and how they construct stories, how they figure out from beginning to end what's going to happen in a story. And I understand that there's people who outline everything, and that they start at the beginning and they're like, I know what's going to happen from here to here, and that's all wonderful, that's great. But for me, that a lot of the ways that people do things doesn't work and for me. And so I like trying to see how these other authors understand things, how they do it for themselves, what works for them, so then I can take those ideas and try them for myself and see if I can find something that works. But anyways, that's that. We'll move on. I want to continue cataloging my library and actually finish cataloging my library. I mentioned that I started it, but I have not made very much progress on that at all. I have like maybe 15-20 books in it, and I've got significantly more books than that. My biggest frustration is with old books that do have barcodes, but then I go scan the barcode and it doesn't show up in the library, and that frustrates me. And so I definitely want to figure out how to make that less frustrating for me. because you can put them in manually, it just takes more time, and I would just like to scan beep, 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 all the books, but it doesn't work that way. So anyways, moving on, two videos per week. That's absolutely something doable. I don't really want to up that, except maybe for the sake of, and a short every once in a while. So yeah, if I can stick with 2 videos per week, my Monday reviews and my Thursday videos, whatever that could be, because that's really my Thursday videos are anything from a Poetry Thursday to a video essay of some sort, to a tag video, to a goals or check-in video of some sort. So like Thursday is kind of my chance to play, whereas Monday is reviewing books. I do want to do more author interviews. I have had a great time with that, and not only because it's enjoyable and it's fun and it's great to speak to the people, to the authors, but also because I do learn a lot from them. I do learn, and I am absolutely using it to learn how to be a better writer for myself and how to be a better storyteller. And so absolutely I do use those things, and I do want to continue doing author interviews, and I've got at least one planned. I don't think we have it scheduled, but I've got one planned, and it might be scheduled, but I can't remember now. Anyways, well, that'll come out in the future once I get things nailed down with that one. But I do have one planned already, so that's great news. And there's several that I would love to, several more authors that I'd love to get on and just have them talk about their writing and stuff like that. So I got ideas, but I only have one planned at the moment. And then I really don't care about numbers. If I cared about numbers in terms of like subscriber count or watch hours or anything like that, I wouldn't be doing this 6 years in with not being monetized. I would completely change the way that I'm doing everything, and I would chase the algorithm, and I'd be doing a lot of different things than what I am. I don't care that much about it, but at the same time I think it would be cool if we could hit 2,000 subscribers in 2026. I think that's doable, but it's not that important to me. It's just something that would be cool to see if that happened. But yeah, so those are my goals. Those are my goals for 2026. There's probably other things that I could say as goals, but I do want this to be something where it's broad goals that there is some specificity to them, but they're broad in this sense that I am not going to, there's not a whole lot writing on them, whether I complete them or not. It's just things that would be nice to do, things that I would enjoy doing, things that I would like to make progress on. And so yeah, they're good goals for me, but nothing terribly, and I'm not really going to set like a number goal. I think I set it every year at 60 or 65 on Goodreads, and that's fine. It really means nothing to me, the number of books that I read. More important to me is that I'm understanding that I'm learning, which is, as I've mentioned in several videos, that's the whole point of an Erudite adventure. And so yeah, I will stop that there in this video. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.